Hello, and welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English. First, let's watch a clip.
In this beginner-friendly video, you will follow me and my mom around as we teach you beginner English naturally.
All right, let's learn to use natural English. First, this is not correct.
And cold beverages.
We can afford this, but the cookies is like $10.
How much are these?
I cannot say the cookies is like $10. Is for a singular noun. The cake is like $10, but the cookies are. The cookies are like $10. I cannot say the cookies is like $10. I need to use are because cookies is plural. Because cookies is a plural noun. And if I ask the question for the price, I say, how much are the cookies? Sure, you could say, how much do the cookies cost? Or what is the price of the cookies? But these questions are more difficult. It's easier to say, how much are the cookies? And the answer is, the cookies are like $10. That means the cookies are approximately $10. Let's practice. How much are the cookies? That's right, the cookies are like $10. This is also not correct.
What flavor do you want? Fanta?
Canada Dry.
Canada Dry? I don't know if this is anywhere else, but this drink is very good.
I cannot say I don't know if this is anywhere else, but this drink is very good. I don't know if this is anywhere else. He's talking about this drink. He's talking about Canada Dry. It's a popular brand of ginger ale. What is ginger ale? It's a kind of soda. So we cannot say, I don't know if this is anywhere else. Because he lives in Canada, he thinks that maybe Canada Dry is only available in Canada. So you would say, I don't know if they have this anywhere else. But not, I don't know if this is anywhere else. We say, I don't know if they have this anywhere else. The idea? Yes, they have this in Canada, but he doesn't know if they have this in other places, anywhere else. And I know we have this in the US, and sure, they have this in Canada, but I don't know if they have this anywhere else. And he doesn't know if they have this anywhere else. So the idea, he knows they have this in Canada, but he doesn't know if they have this anywhere else. Let's practice. Does he know they have this in Canada? That's right, he knows they have this in Canada. But does he know if they have this anywhere else? That's right, he doesn't know if they have this anywhere else. So I can say, I don't know if they have this anywhere else. But don't say, I don't know if this is anywhere else. Don't say that. This is also not correct.
And we should look for some meat too.
What kind of meat?
What kind of meat would you want? Some chicken or something?
Yeah, chicken, barbecue chicken.
What kind of meat would you want? We cannot say this. When you're walking into the grocery store, you don't say what kind of meat would you want. Would you want is an imaginary situation. What kind of meat would you want if you were making meatballs? If you were making meatballs. This is an imaginary situation. But they're walking into the grocery store. We don't say what kind of meat would you want, we say what kind of meat do you want, or what kind of meat would you like. So we see do you want and would you like express the same idea. It's used for in the moment for something real. Would you want is something that is not real, imaginary. But if you're walking into the grocery store, it is a real situation. Use do you want or would you like. So in a real situation, the questions are what kind of meat do you want or what kind of meat would you like? But not would you want. It doesn't work here. All right, let's practice asking the question. Ask me what kind of meat I want. That's right, the question is what kind of meat do you want? And I want beef. Now let's practice with would you like. Ask me what kind of meat I would like. Very good, that's right, the question is what kind of meat would you like? And I would like chicken. And don't say this either.
Oh, you can see the steam coming from my mouth.
The steam coming from my mouth? Don't say this. First, because it's not steam. Steam comes from boiling water. So if you want to sound natural, don't talk about steam coming out of your mouth. Say you can see your breath. I can see my breath. This is what people say if you want to sound natural. Example, it's so cold you can see your breath. Or it's so cold I can see my breath. Let's hear some examples.
I can see my breath.
Well,
You watch out when it's frosty, then you can see his breath.
I can see your breath.
You can see your breath in the room.
My dad used to say that when you can see your breath, it means you're still alive.
Example, it's so cold he can see his breath. Let's practice. How cold is it? Is it so cold that he can see his breath? That's right, it's so cold he can see his breath. Thank you for watching, and keep watching for more. Today we're going to learn how to sound more natural when speaking, so let's get started. First, don't say this.
This is a dog, an animal. The dog's color is beige.
The dog's color is beige? We don't say this. We say the dog is beige. We don't use the word color when we talk about colors. We use it in a question. I say, what color is the dog? And the answer, the dog is beige. The dog is light brown. But don't say the dog's color is beige. Example, the table is black. We don't say the table's color is black. We just say the table is black. And we don't say the table has a black color. Don't use the word color when giving a color. Just say the name of the color. The table is black. Let's practice. What color is the table? That's right, the table is black. What color is the dog? That's right, the dog is beige, or the dog is light brown. This is also not correct.
These are lemons, and this is a car.
These are lemons, but he's holding one lemon. You cannot say these are lemons if you're only holding one of them. You have to say this is a lemon. Lemons are countable, so we use the article a. This is a lemon. These are not lemons because there's only one. These are lemons. There are more than one, so these are lemons. And this is a lemon. Let's practice. Are these lemons? That's right, these are lemons. Is this a lemon? That's right, this is a lemon. And don't say this either.
You could also call this a pond. It's a pond of water.
It's a pond of water? We don't say this because it's a pond. It's always water. We don't say it's a pond of water. We don't say it's a river of water. We don't say it's a lake of water. And we don't say it's an ocean of water. These things are always water. So we just say it's a pond, it's a river, it's a lake, and it's an ocean. We don't use the word water. What about puddle? Okay, you can say a puddle of water because maybe it's not water. Maybe it's a puddle of blood or something else. Okay, that's possible, but not a pond. A pond is always water. So don't say it's a pond of water. That sounds crazy. It's a pond. So what is a pond? A pond is a small lake. This is a pond. There's a pond at the park. Let's practice. Is this a pond? That's right, this is a pond. Is there a pond at the park? That's right, there's a pond at the park. This is also incorrect.
He found out the best angle to film the scene. He found out the best angle.
We cannot say he found out a good angle. We cannot use the phrasal verb find out in the past found out. We have to use the verb find in the past found with no out. He found a good angle. He found it. He was looking for it and he found it. We cannot say he found out. He found a good angle. Let's practice. Did he find a good angle? That's right, he found a good angle. So how do we use find out? Find out is for information. When you discover information, you find out something. It's not about looking for something and locating it, it's information. Example, he found out about his friend. Information about his friend. He found out that his friend was sick. Again, information. He received information. That's find out in the past found out. Let's practice. Did he find out about his friend? That's right, he found out about his friend. Did he find out that his friend was sick? That's right, he found out that his friend was sick. And this is not correct either.
And the great thing about this strategy, it's very simple. It's just 3 steps to follow.
It's just 3 steps to follow? I cannot say it's just 3 steps to follow. Because I'm expressing existence of the 3 steps, I have to say there are. There are just 3 steps to follow. I cannot use it's in this case. There are just 3 steps to follow. Let's practice. How many steps are there? Are there just 3 steps to follow? That's right, there are just 3 steps to follow. Example, traffic. I cannot say it's a lot of traffic. Again, because I'm expressing the existence of traffic, I have to say there is. Contraction, there's. There's a lot of traffic. I cannot say it's a lot of traffic, I have to say there's. Let's practice. Is there a lot of traffic today? That's right, there's a lot of traffic today. Example, cookies. I cannot say it's cookies on the table or they are cookies on the table. I'm expressing the existence of cookies. I have to say there are. There are cookies on the table. Let's practice. Are there any cookies on the table? That's right, there are some cookies on the table. This is also incorrect.
You can use an SRS software like Anki. Use an SRS software for long-term memorization.
You can use an SRS software. The word software is not countable. We don't say an SRS software or a software. It's just software. No articles with software. It's not a countable word. You can say an SRS app. App is countable. The word app is countable. You can say an SRS app, but not an SRS software. We see these words that end with ware, and we know that they are not countable. Silverware, software, hardware. These words are not countable, so no and no s at the end. Example, silverware. There's silverware on the table. Not a silverware and not silverwares, just silverware. It's not a countable word. Again, the example, there is, contraction, there's. There's silverware on the table. Let's practice. Is there any silverware on the table? That's right, there's silverware on the table. Example, hardware. This is hardware. I cannot say a hardware or hardwares because the word is not countable, just hardware. I can ask a question and say, do they sell hardware? And you can say, yes, they sell hardware. No a hardware and no hardwares. Let's practice. Do they sell hardware? That's right, they sell hardware. It's a hardware store. That's what they sell. Example, he downloaded some software. Not a software and not softwares. It's not a countable word. He downloaded some software. Let's practice. Did he download some software? That's right, he downloaded some software. First, this is not correct.
What mistakes do most English learners make? I would say they waste time on things that kills motivation, like grammar drills.
I cannot say they waste time on things that kills motivation. If I say things, I cannot say kills. I cannot put an S on kill because things is a plural. I have to say kill. I can say they waste time on things that kill motivation, but not kills. I have to use a simple verb here, kill. So he's saying if students spend a lot of time in class learning English that way, that they waste time on things that kill motivation. Maybe it's true. Let's practice. Do they waste time on things that kill motivation? Sure, maybe they waste time on things that kill motivation. Not kills, but kill. This is also not correct.
And I'm 22 years old now, so that was also a question people asking. I'm 22.
I cannot say that was a question people asking. I need a verb. I need the verb to be. I can say were. That was a question that people were asking. Or I can use have been. That was a question people have been asking. But I cannot say that was also a question that people asking. In the present, that is a question that people are asking. In the past, that was a question people were asking. So example, people were asking this question. So I can say that was a question people were asking. Let's practice. Was that a question people were asking? That's right, that was a question people were asking. This is also not correct.
I lived in Canada since I was 4, so I lived in Canada for 18 years.
I lived in Canada since I was 4. I lived is an example of simple past, and I cannot use since with simple past. If I change the verb to present perfect, well then it works. You can say I have or I've lived in Canada since I was 4. This is correct, but not I lived in Canada since I was 4. I cannot use since with simple past. So the example is he has or he's lived in Canada since he was 4. Let's practice. Has he lived in Canada since he was 4? That's right, he's lived in Canada since he was 4. Or I can say he has been living. He has been living in Canada since he was 4. He has, contraction, he's been. He's been living in Canada since he was 4. Let's practice. Has he been living in Canada since he was 4? That's right, he's been living in Canada since he was 4.
I lived in Canada since I was 4, so I lived in Canada for 18 years.
So I lived in Canada for 18 years? Wait a minute, he lived in Canada for 18 years and then he moved somewhere else? Or does he still live in Canada? Let's watch another clip.
So I didn't leave Canada, I'm just traveling here in South America, and my family is from here in Ecuador. So I just came to travel and visit family. So I didn't leave Canada, I'm just traveling here in Ecuador.
So he still lives in Canada. So we cannot say, I lived in Canada for 18 years, because he still lives there. We have to use present perfect. We have to say he has lived, or he's lived in Canada for 18 years. Or I can say he has been living in Canada for 18 years, but not he lived, or I lived. Let's practice. Has he lived in Canada for 18 years? That's right, he's lived in Canada for 18 years. Has he been living in Canada for 18 years? That's right, he's been living in Canada for 18 years. For example, my wife, Lisa. I can say she lived in Ukraine for 23 years because she doesn't live there anymore. She moved to the US when she was 23. So I could say in the past she lived in Ukraine for 23 years because she doesn't live there anymore. Let's practice. Did she live in Ukraine for 23 years? That's right, she lived in Ukraine for 23 years. Can I say she lived in the US since she was 23? No, I cannot use since in simple past. I have to say she has. She has lived in the US since she was 23. Remember, don't use since with simple past. Let's practice. Has she lived in the US since she was 23? That's right, she's lived in the US since she was 23. This is also not correct.
For me, the hardest part for speaking a language has got to be getting the confidence to speak.
I cannot say the hardest part for speaking a language. I cannot use for. I have to use of. It's correct to say the hardest part of speaking a language. I cannot use for in this situation. So it's an interesting question. What's the hardest part of speaking a language? You tell me. Give me your opinion. Let me know in the comments. What do you think is the hardest part of speaking a language? This is also not correct.
It's still very new to me, and it does make me nervous just recording because I'm afraid what's other people going to think and all this.
I cannot say I'm worried what's other people going to think. What's other people going to think? First, I can't say what's other people. People is a plural. I have to say are. What are other people going to think? This is a direct question. This is correct. What are other people going to think? But if you say I'm worried, you have to move the verb. I'm worried what other people are going to think. Pronunciation, what other people are going to think. Altogether, I'm worried what other people are going to think. Other people are going to think. So we don't hear are, we hear what other people are going to think. I'm worried what other people are going to think. I cannot say I'm worried what's other people going to think. Use are and move the are. I'm worried what other people are going to think. Example, he's very self-conscious. We say he's self-conscious because he's worried what other people are going to think. He's worried what other people are going to think about him. He's self-conscious. Let's practice. Is he self-conscious? That's right, he's self-conscious. Is he worried about what other people are going to think? That's right, he's worried about what other people are going to think. That's what it means to be self-conscious. This is also not correct.
Next question is, where do you want to travel next? I really want to go back to Asia and travel to countries I haven't been.
I cannot say I really want to go back to Asia and travel to the other countries I haven't been. We have to put to at the end and say the countries I haven't been to. So it's correct to say, I want to go back to Asia and travel to countries I haven't been to. I have to put to at the end. Example, he wants to go back to Asia and travel to countries he hasn't been to. Let's practice. Does he want to go back to Asia and travel to countries he hasn't been to? That's right, he wants to go back to Asia and travel to countries he hasn't been to. This is also not correct.
So I've been to Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Hong Kong.
I cannot pronounce the country Singapore. It's not Singapore, it's Singapore. The NG makes a sound in your nose. Sing, like when you sing a song. Together, Singapore. Not Singapore, but Singapore. Singapore is a country in Asia. Let's hear another one.
But I still want to go to Philippines, Indonesia.
Go to Philippines? We use the article the when we talk about the country Philippines. It's a special country because it's a series of islands. We say the Philippines. So I cannot say I want to go to Philippines. We say I want to go to the Philippines. So example, he wants to go to Asia. He wants to go to Singapore, not Singapore, and he wants to go to the Philippines. He wants to go to Singapore and the Philippines. Let's practice. Does he want to go to Singapore and the Philippines? That's right, he wants to go to Singapore and the Philippines, 2 Asian countries. This is also not correct.
This could be reading, watching comprehensible input videos like my ones, which are made to help you learn and acquire English.
I cannot say watching videos like my ones. I cannot use my ones. I cannot use possession before ones. I can say big ones and small ones, old ones and young ones, but I cannot say my ones. We cannot use possessive here. You have to say my videos or mine. So it's correct to say watching videos like mine or watching videos like my videos, but not watching videos like my ones. We cannot say this. So he says a good way to practice is by watching videos like his, not like his ones, but like his. So again, he says it's a good idea to practice your English by watching videos like his. Let's practice. Does he say it's a good idea to practice English by watching videos like his? That's right, he says it's a good idea to practice English by watching videos like his. Long sentence. This is also not correct.
You go to my website, it'll be in the description and the comments, and you can get the 3,000 list word there.
You can get the 300 list word there? List word? This is not correct. He means you can get the 300 word list there. 300 word functions as an adjective. There's no S, it goes before list. The 300 word list. Not the 300 list word, and not the 300 words list, but the 300 word list. You can get the 300 word list there, with the link. By clicking the link, you can get the 300 word list. Let's practice. How can you get the 300 word list? Can you get the 300 word list by clicking the link? That's right, you can get the 300 word list by clicking the link. And don't say this either.
Just boring classes where they just sit in a desk, have a piece of paper and write stuff down.
They just sit in a desk? Sit in a desk? Wait, in a desk? On a desk or at a desk? What's the difference? Keep watching to find out and to practice more. So if I talk about a desk, I can use the following prepositions. In the desk, on the desk, at the desk, and by the desk. But they're all different. So let's take a closer look. If I talk about objects that are on the top surface of the desk, I say on. Example, she has a computer on her desk. There's a computer on her desk. Let's practice. Does she have a computer on her desk? That's right, she has a computer on her desk. Is there a computer on her desk? That's right, there's a computer on her desk. If I talk about things that are inside the drawers, then I say in. She keeps her pencils in her desk. They're in the drawers. They're inside the drawers, so I say in. She keeps her pencils in her desk. Let's practice. Does she keep her pencils in her desk? That's right, she keeps her pencils in her desk. And if you talk about a person who's sitting in the chair next to the desk, we say at. She's sitting at her desk. Or I can say she's working. She's working at her desk. She's not working on her desk. She's not working in her desk. She's working at her desk. Let's practice. Is she sitting at her desk? That's right, she's sitting at her desk. Is she working at her desk? That's right, she's working at her desk. And what about the trash can? What's the preposition that I use for the trash can? By. There's a trash can by her desk. Or I can say next to. There's a trash can next to her desk. Let's practice. Is there a trash can by her desk? That's right, there's a trash can by her desk. So remember, when you talk about a desk, you can use different prepositions. In the desk, on the desk, at the desk, and by the desk. Thank you for watching, and keep watching for more. This is also not correct.
But if you want to remember these words for the long term...
If you want to remember this words, let's hear that again.
But if you want to remember these words for the long term...
We cannot say this words. We have to say these words. We have to use the long E like green beans. I cannot use the short I like this is. I need the long E like green beans. These. Plus the Z sound like in zebra and zipper. These words. Not this words, but these words. The pronunciation is important. So today we practice with these words. Let's practice. Did we practice with these words today? That's right, we practice with these words. Not this words, but these words. And we see that these words are confusing because the preposition changes the meaning of the word. So keep watching for more confusing prepositions and to clear up confusion. Hello, and welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English. Today we're going to learn to avoid some important mistakes and learn how to sound more natural when speaking. So let's get started. First, don't say this. Never say this. Never say go out from my house. This is never correct. What about go out of my house or go out of the house? This is correct sometimes, but we have a better alternative. We have something that sounds a lot more natural. Use the verb leave. Leave the house or leave my house. Never say go out from my house, and avoid using go out of my house because it's not as common as the verb leave. Leave in the past left. Example, she leaves the house in the morning. She goes out of the house in the morning? That doesn't sound right. She leaves the house in the morning. She leaves the house in the morning and she goes to work. Let's practice. Does she leave the house in the morning? That's right, she leaves the house in the morning. Does she leave the house in the morning and go to work? That's right, she leaves the house in the morning and she goes to work. In this situation, don't say go out of the house and never say go out from the house. That's never correct. So leave in the present, in the past left. Example, she left her house this morning and she went to work. Let's practice. Did she leave her house this morning and go to work? That's right, she left her house this morning and she went to work. So you can say leave the house or leave my house, leave her house, leave your house. It's easier to use the, leave the house. This is always correct. What about this? Can I say get out of the house or get out of my house? Yes, you can, but only when there's emotion. Example, you're bored. You've been at home for a long time, many days. You say, I'm tired of being at home. I want to get out of the house. Pronunciation, I want to get out of the house. Not get out of, but get out of. We hear the T in get and the T in out pronounced as fast D's. Get out of the house. And you don't have to pronounce the V sound in of because it's before a consonant. Get out of the house. I'm bored. I want to get out of the house. There's emotion. That's when we use this. Or if you're angry, you can say, get out of my house. Again, emotion. Let's hear some examples.
Get out of my house!
Hey, I need to get out of the house.
What? Get out of my house!
Get out of my house! Go!
Get out of my house!
Yes. anything to get out of the house right now.
You gotta get out of the house, Faye.
They hatched. Get out of the house.
Example, he's bored. He's been at home all day. He wants to get out of the house. Let's practice. He's bored. Does he want to get out of the house? That's right, he wants to get out of the house. She's angry, and she told the person, get out of my house. That's what she said. Let's practice. What did she say? Did she say, get out of my house? That's right, she said, get out of my house. Or if I explain, I can say, she told him to get out of her house. Pronunciation. Again, she told him to get out of her house. Now we need the v sound in of because we don't pronounce the h in her. We link the sounds. Get out of her. Now it's a vowel. Out of her. Not out of her, the h is silent. Because there's no consonant, we need the v sound. Of her, of her. She told him to get out of her house. Let's practice. What did she tell him? Did she tell him to get out of her house? That's right, she told him to get out of her house. So remember, never say go out from your house. Sometimes people say go out of your house, but it's always better to say leave. This is the best option. Leave in the present and left in the past. And only use get out of the house when there's emotion. You're bored, you're angry, something like that. Thank you for watching, and keep watching to practice with more confusing vocabulary and prepositions. Hello! Welcome to English for Everyone. Today we're going to practice with two important words, allergy and allergic. Let's get started. The first word is allergy. The first thing that's important is the ALL. This word breaks the rule. The rule is ALL makes the sound all, like ball and call. But here it makes the A sound, the short A like in apple and black. Allergy. It's 3 syllables. Allergy. The stress is on the first syllable. Allergy. Allergy is countable. I can have 1 allergy or 2 allergies. If you have 1, you say an allergy. I have an allergy. I don't have an allergy. He has an allergy. He has an allergy to peanuts. When he eats peanuts, his face swells up. His face is swollen. He has an allergy. And the preposition is to. He has an allergy to peanuts. Pronunciation, to. He has an allergy to peanuts. He has an allergy to peanuts. When he eats peanuts, his face swells up. So allergy is a noun. It's a countable noun. An allergy. And the connector is to. Pronounced to. He has an allergy to peanuts. Our next word is allergic. Allergic is 3 syllables. Allergic. The stress is on the second syllable. Allergic. Allergic. Here the ALL is not pronounced all, but pronounced like in cup and up, because it's not stressed. Allergic. Allergic is an adjective. It describes a person. I am allergic. He is allergic. I am not allergic, but he is allergic. We use the same connector to, pronounced to. He's allergic to peanuts. Example, he's allergic to peanuts. If he eats peanuts, his face swells up. His face is swollen because he ate peanuts. You can also use allergic as an adjective describing reaction. Reaction is countable. You can have 1 reaction and 2 reactions. So, he has, or in the past, one time, he had an allergic reaction. He had an allergic reaction. Same preposition, to. He had an allergic reaction to peanuts. He had an allergic reaction to peanuts. Remember, to is pronounced t because it's not stressed in the sentence. He's allergic to peanuts. He had an allergic reaction to peanuts yesterday. Let's practice with allergy. If you go to the doctor or the hospital, they will always ask you this question. Do you have any allergies? They ask the question with plural, allergies. Any allergies? Because they don't know. Maybe 1 or maybe more than 1. Do you have any allergies? I say no. I don't have any allergies. Let's practice. Do you have any allergies? Very good. I don't have any allergies. Let's practice. Does he have an allergy to peanuts? That's right. He has an allergy to peanuts. Let's practice with allergic. I am not allergic to peanuts. Are you allergic to peanuts? That's right. I'm not allergic to peanuts. Is he allergic to peanuts? That's right. He's allergic to peanuts. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. Or if you want to become a member, click the join button. And we'll see you next time.